The alignment activity involved seeing if you could match where the content description was reflected in the achievement standard. So each of the achievement standards were broken down into dot point parts so that it was easy to try and match them up and see whether one content description was reflected in perhaps more than one part of the achievement standard.
Well, I started with 3 and 9 and then I crossed out 9.
I've got 3 and 9. 3 and 9.
Oh, you left the 9 in again?
Yeah, just because it says about 3.
So I wrote A to N and then wrote
okay.
But that might help to see whether it's a skill or whether an understanding. Did they match up?
This allowed for lots of insight about what were the particular parts of the content descriptions that have been pulled out into the achievement standards, and it also allowed for us to really have some deep conversations around the use of the language and terminology from the content description to the achievement standard.
Yeah, I mean my concern is there still seems to be a heck of a lot to get through.
But if we're going to talk achievement standards, we need some clarity about how to interpret that. Because as you said, if we make this too explicit, well then you might as well just forget it and just look at your content descriptions. If we make it too vague, then it's up to all sorts of interpretation as to how to work out what fits and where that student is actually achieved.
Placed for the content descriptions could be placed in either or, and it's interesting that Tanya and I came together and we had exactly the same descriptors that could go into exactly the same standards, so we both had the same view. The inquiry skills were quite easy, there was quite a few of those, and again, like you said with the foundation, there was a lot more inquiry skills than there was in the other areas. The language was reasonably clear to understand, except for with the investigations, they had simple investigations and therefore they assumed that you knew everything that that entailed.
One aspect of the maths curriculum that's not reflected in the achievement standards currently is the proficiency strands, and that may be something that teachers might examine the proficiency strands in the achievement standard and look for that language and whether there is a match as another activity.